Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of our Dreamerspro from Dreamerspro. Our main channel is Dreamerspro. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I know some of you guys are sitting there asking yourself, but I just saw you on live. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties, so I got to do this live again. So we're going to be talking about the NBA trade deadline today. There are a lot of things happening in the trade in this trade deadline market. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. A lot of movements have been made, but there's some key pieces out there that we're still waiting for. For those of you guys who are coming back into the chat, something went wrong with our last live, so we're doing it again. So just bear with me. Please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button so the notifications go out where we're doing this live again. We just made a mistake in the last video, so we're going to go over this again. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I'll try to answer as much of these as your questions as possible, and I'll try to take my time to go through it this time so I don't rush it, so I can answer everybody's questions. So first of all, let's talk about what's happened so far in the trade deadline market. A lot of crazy things have happened so far. So I'm going to go over some of the trades that have kind of been taking place so far. I'm going to tell you some of the things that Adrian Wojnarowski has reported already. We're going to talk about some of the things that we heard from ESPN, so you guys can kind of understand what's happening on that front. And then I'm also going to give you guys my opinion on what I think is going to happen with some of the key pieces that are out there. So let's go over some of the trades that have actually taken place. So the first big shoe to drop was the first breaking news. That was from Adrian Wojnarowski, where the Bulls, the Orlando Magic traded Nikola Vucevic. They were able to send him to the Chicago Bulls. So it looks like the Chicago Bulls, in my opinion, are trying to make a move. I think they're probably trying to make a move up in the playoff seeding. I don't think they're trying to mail in their season. Now, if I look at the Eastern Conference standings, the Chicago Bulls are in that 10th seed. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the playoff seedings for the playoff, for those round of games that they're going to play the play-in tournament, I think you have to be between the seeds that are between 7 and 10 can play for that number, those final two spots. So I think the Chicago Bulls, they fall into that category. They're still in the playoff picture. They're only about 2 games out or so. About 2 games out, a game and a half out of that eighth seed. So them acquiring this piece is actually pretty much going to help them get into the playoffs. Another big news, to me, I think is a huge piece of news, was Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon being traded from the Orlando Magic to the Denver Nuggets. To me, I think that's one of the biggest moves that have been made so far in the free agent market. Why? Because the Denver Nuggets were the team that knocked off the Clippers last year when they came back from 3-1. And I think going into this season, a lot of people felt like the Denver Nuggets were going to be one of the teams at the top. They felt like, okay, if they were able to beat the Clippers next year, then for sure they're going to be one of the top seeds in the Western Conference. But they haven't really been themselves like they were last season. And now currently in the Western Conference, you have the Denver Nuggets, who are at the number 5 spot right now in the Western Conference, right? So I think they're trying to make a move up, given the fact that the Lakers are floundering a little bit, given the fact that LeBron James and Anthony Davis are out. I think some of these teams are going to try to make a push to try to gain some seeding on the Lakers, because the Lakers are going to fall a little bit. And I think the Lakers are now probably going to have a tougher path to the finals if they were trying to get to the finals, now playing some of the higher seeded teams if they're starting at a lower seed. So I think this move is going to help the Denver Nuggets. So they get to keep Nikola Jokic, they get to keep Jamal Murray, and you're now adding a very athletic wing player that can play basketball, that can also play defense. You're now adding them to that recipe, to that pot, and I think this team is going to pretty much make some noise. Now, talking about the Clippers, because I know the Clippers have been in the market for a point guard. One of the point guards we even discussed earlier on our main channel. If you guys are coming in for the first time, just please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button so the notifications get out. Talking about some possible pieces that the Clippers could have gotten as far as a point guard. George Hill was one of these moves, these players that the Clippers were looking to make, players that they're possibly thinking of going after in the free agent market. Well, he's gone. He's now going to be playing. I think George Hill, if I look at it here, George Hill is going to be playing with, let's see the team. He's going to be playing with the Philadelphia 76ers, which makes things very, very interesting. Why? Because the biggest piece that all of us are waiting for is Kyle Lowry. Now, let's talk about Kyle Lowry for a second, because he seems to be the name that's circulating around. So Kyle Lowry, I was recently listening to Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman on First Take talking to Brian Windhorst, and he was saying basically that whole thing about the Lakers and the Toronto Raptors even being in discussions for a trade, he thinks is a false flag. He thinks it's something that's not even going to happen. Why? Because the Lakers have a very hard cap, right? And teams that are hit with a hard cap, because remember, the Lakers have a massive payroll. They're already paying LeBron James $39 million a year. They're paying Anthony Davis well above $20 million a year. So between these two players, they have a very big payroll. So for them to get a player like Kyle Lowry, who's earning $30,500,000 this year, they're going to need to try to match his salary almost exactly. That's the problem that the Lakers are running up against. And he feels that the Toronto Raptors are throwing that information out there to put more pressure on other teams to go ahead and pull the trigger. Now, given the fact that the Philadelphia 76ers have already gone after George Hill, and that seemed to be one of the spots that a lot of people thought Kyle Lowry was going to land playing with, I think they were saying he was either going to play with the Philadelphia 76ers, the Philadelphia 76ers or the Miami Heat. Those are the two teams that they were looking at. Well, Philly looks like it's off the board. So now who's left? You have the Miami Heat. You have the Lakers, who's kind of like this new player that came up in the free agent market. And then you also have the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, the Lakers, I don't think they're going to be able to afford Kyle Lowry. If the Lakers wanted to go to get Kyle Lowry, they're going to need to gut a lot of their depth because Kyle Lowry is very expensive. I went over this in the previous live. I'm going to go over it again because I'm sure a lot of you guys missed that part. So just bear with me. I'm going to go over that again so we make this live a little bit more thorough. And I'll make sure that I give you guys a comprehensive breakdown of the trade deadline and how things can actually break down, even though a lot of sources are reporting that the Lakers are the ones that are they're kind of leading the charge. I doubt it. But anyway, let's talk about it. Kyle Lowry is earning $30 million. Given the fact that the Lakers have a hard cap and they're going to need to match that number, let's look at the potential pieces that the Lakers could possibly trade to get Kyle Lowry. Okay, they have Caldwell Pope. I don't think the Lakers are going to be willing to get rid of Caldwell Pope, but maybe they will. Fine. Although he's a very reliable two-way player and 3-and-D guy. I don't think they're going to be willing to get rid of him, but fine. They have Caldwell Pope or whatever. They have him. You have Alex Caruso. He's only earning $2.7 million a year. Caldwell Pope is earning $12 million. So basically you're at half of what Kyle Lowry is at. Anthony Davis is earning $32 million and LeBron James is earning $39 million. So between these two guys, they're earning about $70 million, and they're not going to touch these two guys, right? So they're off the board. So who else is left? You have Wesley Matthews. He's earning $3.6 million. They're not going to move him, and even if they did move him, it's not enough to get him to the number that they're looking at. So who else is left on the market? Then you have Montrezl Harrell. So for the Lakers to really make a realistic swing at Kyle Lowry, you're going to need to match these salaries, and it's going to be very difficult. The Lakers are already having an issue with depth, given the fact that LeBron James and Anthony Davis are gone. So you're now telling me, given the fact that they want to solve this issue with the depth, they're now going to trade away all of these pieces just to get Kyle Lowry, and now they're going to be in a bigger hole, given the fact that the Lakers do need size and all of these different things. I think that's going to cause all type of issues, and I don't think the Lakers are going to be willing to go through all of that, to be quite honest with you. It makes no sense. A lot of people are saying that the Lakers are going to go after DeAndre Drummond to give them some size and some rebounding. I think if they get DeAndre Drummond, they're still going to need another shooter, which is important. They're still going to need another shooter because the Lakers are only shooting about 35% from the three as a team. So if the Lakers were potentially supposed to make it into the playoffs and have this long playoff run and ultimately make it to the NBA Finals, where they would, let's say, possibly face the Brooklyn Nets, you're going to need to be able to score with the Nets. And the issue I'm having with the Lakers is that I don't think the Lakers can score enough. Guys, just please make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the like button so we get out as many notifications as possible. Okay, why are we streaming? Yeah, because we're streaming on this channel because we don't want to mess up anything on our other channel. But this video is going to be on our main channel later on, so we don't want to mess around with that. We do have a main channel for some of the new people here that are watching. It's called Dreamerspro. We have that linked in the description below. So that's our main channel, but we don't want to mess around with anything there. So some people are saying the Lakers, I think, is improbable, but that's what some people are saying. Now, let's get back to the Clippers. The Clippers have been having point guard issues all season long. We all know this, right? The Clippers have a lot of issues at the point guard spot. The current stock of point guards that they have right now, they have Reggie Jackson, Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, and Terrence Mann. I love Patrick Beverley. He's probably their best on-the-ball defender as a point guard. He's the heart and soul of the team. He's a very energetic guy. He plays with a lot of passion. He can knock down threes. The only problem with Patrick Beverley is this. Excuse me. Patrick Beverley has missed over 30% of the season. Patrick Beverley is always injured. And if he's not available, I don't see the net positive that he brings to the team. Lou Williams, I already told you how I feel about Lou Williams. I'm not a fan of Lou Williams. I think he's a one-way player. He makes a lot of questionable decisions with the ball when he has the ball in his hand. He can score, but when he's not scoring, he's not really playing great defense. And I think Reggie Jackson is more of the same. Which brings me now to Kyle Lowry. We did videos on Kyle Lowry possibly being an option for the Clippers to go after in the trade market. Again, the Clippers have the same issue that the Lakers have. The Clippers have a very high payroll, and they're also hit with the hard cap. Now, the Clippers just recently made a trade where they were able to free up some space, about $2.6 million off their hard cap, to allow them to go out there and get another player. So for me, if you're looking at them potentially going after Kyle Lowry, I think the Clippers are in a better position to get Kyle Lowry for sure. If you're looking at the pieces that can move versus the Lakers, because the Lakers don't want to gut their depth. Number one. Number two, given the fact that AD and LeBron are accounting for $70+ million in their salary, they've already eaten up a major chunk of their salary. So it's going to be very hard. And if we look at the Clippers and we look at the potential players that they can move as far as salaries, well, Kyle Lowry is being paid $30 million a year. You have Patrick Beverley, who's earning 13. So you're about halfway there, given the fact that they have that $2.6 million space under the cap. So keep that in mind. So, okay, you can say Patrick Beverley. Okay, you have one. Okay, who's the next person? If you throw in Lou Williams, well, Lou Williams is earning 8. So you're 20, you're 13, but you're at 21. So you're still off. So the Clippers are still going to need to throw in another piece. Well, who can they throw in? You can say, okay, Patrick Patterson. Fine, Patrick Patterson pushes about 24. Then you give or take, yes. So are they willing to give away these 3 players? Who knows, right? I think the players that you do not touch at all, I would keep Luke Kennard, actually. I like what Luke Kennard brings off the bench with his 3-point. I like Luke Kennard. And number two, his salary doesn't match. His salary is going to kick in next season when he starts earning $14 million. This year he's earning 5.7, so I don't think he works. I would keep Luke Kennard. I would not touch Marcus Morris. I would not touch Nicholas Batum, but Nicholas Batum is only earning $1.6 million, so there's no way they'll be able to go for him. So I think the Clippers are a bit of a longer shot. I'm not sure exactly how the Clippers are going to be able to pull that off. Do they have a chance? Yes. But I think the Clippers can also go after Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball works better for the Clippers if we're looking at salaries, because Lonzo Ball is only earning about 11. So to get a trade for Lonzo Ball, I think would be a lot easier. And I think Lonzo Ball works really well. I think the positives that Lonzo brings to the Clippers are a lot. Okay, number one, he's very young. He's only 24 years. No. Number one, 1A, should I say, is that he costs a lot less than Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is costing you $30 million. If Lonzo wants a new contract, the highest he's going to ask you for is 20. You're still 10 below. So Lonzo Ball, that's the first reason. Second reason, he's young. Lonzo Ball is only 24 years old. That's number two. Number three, Lonzo Ball is a big point guard. I heard Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp talking about it on Undisputed earlier today, where they were saying, listen, Kyle Lowry he's a 6'1", 6'2" point guard. Are we willing to, I mean, people are acting like as if, he's Magic Johnson. He's a bit undersized at the point guard position, although he's very tenacious, although he has a lot of playoff experience, although he's a champion, although he's a leader. These are some things to keep in mind. Lonzo Ball, young guy, 6'6" point guard. He's a much improved free throw shooter. Last season, he was shooting 56.6%. This year, he's shooting about 76%. That's a 20% jump in free throw shooting. So it looks to me that Lonzo has shown a willingness to want to get better. That's something that you can't omit, because as the Clippers, if they're looking long term, which I hope they will, they're not just looking short term. The Clippers will want somebody that looks like he's going to be there to improve down the line. Lonzo Ball is showing that, hey, listen, I'm willing to put in the work and continue to improve as a basketball player. So that's something to pay attention to. Number three, the Clippers have had some issues with pushing the tempo, getting easy shots in transition. Lonzo Ball is a maestro at that. You just heard Magic Johnson I don't know if I agree with him. He recently was on ESPN First Take saying that, listen, no, there's no point guard smarter than Lonzo Ball in the NBA. So, okay, I understand that. So Lonzo Ball is a very smart point guard. For sure, he'd be their best passer. I don't think there are two questions about that. So he can bring a lot of positives to the Clippers. If they got him, I think the Clippers would be in a better position today than they were yesterday. Bearing in mind, you got to look at who are they looking at getting, who are they looking to get rid of. That's an important thing to pay attention to. If they keep the right pieces, then sure, go ahead. Another name that I've heard mentioned is Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo has a lot of irony. First of all, I want to welcome you guys that are coming in now. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button so more notifications goes out so more people can see the video. Now, Rajon Rondo, I think also works really well if they can get him. Although he's a long shot, although I'm just hearing about him right now. Rajon Rondo was the guy that the Clippers should have gotten during the offseason. He's the guy that got away, that decided to go to play with the Atlanta Hawks to be the backup point guard to Trae Young. I think he went to go play with the Atlanta Hawks because they were willing to offer him more money. And at this age and at this stage of his career, I think it makes perfect sense. I think he did what was best for him and his family. Who wouldn't want more security going into the future? I understand it. Now, if there's a scenario where they could get Rajon Rondo, then you absolutely pull that trigger. Because number one, Rajon Rondo is a two-time NBA champion. He won. He's been in a lot of adversity. He has a tremendous amount of experience. He played with that first big three with the Boston Celtics with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce. He was there. Rajon Rondo was once steering that ship. Although he's a very temperamental guy, him and Doc Rivers and Ray Allen they butted heads. He had some issues when he was playing with the Sacramento Kings, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not a model citizen. But we all know that last year in the playoffs, when he was playing with the Los Angeles Lakers, I think there's no one that's going to question the fact that Rajon Rondo was their third best player, and the Lakers don't win that championship without Rajon Rondo and his championship winning plays. So he's a possible piece. Are they going to get him? I have no idea, absolutely, if they're going to be able to get Rajon Rondo. I mean, it's a long shot, but again, with these trade deadlines and the way things work, anything can happen that you don't foresee. And if it happens, boom, before you know it, next thing you know, they're gonna get him. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. We can grab the White. Yeah, I mean, the Dwight Howard is not necessarily something the Clippers necessarily need. Yeah. Well, some people, yeah, exactly. Some people don't want Rondo, but for me, I think the Clippers are looking at either Kyle Lowry or they're either looking at Kyle Lowry or Lonzo Ball. Let me just see if some other moves have been made. Yes, okay, some other moves have been made as well. Okay, two moves just came in just now. Of course, for Toronto Raptors, traded away Norman Powell, who's a player I like a lot, actually. Norman Powell is a great two-guard that can score, that's very athletic, good at attacking the basket, good three-point shooter, good free throw shooter. They ended up sending him to Portland, and I think that was a good move because Portland doesn't have enough. The Portland Trailblazers just lost to the Brooklyn Nets without Kyrie, without KD. James Harden went in there and beat them with CJ McCollum, with Damian Lillard, with Carmelo Anthony. So they weren't able to beat them. So I think that was a good move for the Portland Trailblazers. And it also indicates to me that the Toronto Raptors are pretty much calling it a season. I think the Toronto Raptors are probably going to go into a full-blown rebuild at this point. I think they're going into a full-blown rebuild. When I brought up this idea of Kyle Lowry possibly being moved early in the season, a lot of Toronto Raptors fans were upset with me, saying, what the hell does the Clippers have? And I can understand because he's the last piece of that championship formula that they had with Serge Ibaka, Kawhi Leonard, and Kyle Lowry. Those are the three, and then Marcus Gasol. So all of these pieces are gone. So ultimately, Kyle Lowry was definitely going to go. So looking at some of the moves that the Raptors have made, I think they're calling it a wrap on the season. And then the Raptors just made another trade. The Toronto Raptors just traded Matt Thomas, who's a guy I like, to the Utah Jazz for future second-round picks. So listen, I think the Raptors are pretty much calling it no mas. I think they're saying, listen, we're done. I don't think the Toronto Raptors are looking to make any more moves. I think the Toronto Raptors right now, we're seeing them going through a full-blown rebuild. So the big piece out there that we're all still waiting for is to find out, the big shooter waiting to drop is what happens with Kyle Lowry. Some people have asked me, what do you think is going to happen? If you ask me, I think that the Clippers are probably going to end up getting Lonzo Ball over Kyle Lowry. I will be astonished if the Clippers got Kyle Lowry. Number one, because of the price tag. He's so expensive, and it shows me that the Clippers are willing to go all in right now. There are a lot of positives for getting Kyle Lowry. Remember, Kyle Lowry has an history with Kawhi Leonard and Serge Ibaka. These were the two guys that he won his first title with. So there's some positives there. But are you willing to give up all of those pieces just for Kyle Lowry, who just turned 35 years old, for the next 1 year or two, and it's somebody who's looking for another contract coming these next coming years? That's something to kind of think about. I don't know if the Clippers are willing to do that. So for me, if you ask me, I think the Clippers should go for Lonzo Ball. I think they're going to get Lonzo Ball. I think that's the guy I think the Clippers are going to go after. I think they're going to get him. Yeah, just want to say, yeah. So guys, again, if you're enjoying this live, we're going to be going live through our Dreamerspro Max community. It's our online sports community. It's a place where you go and start basketball discussions. We chat live during games. We do it every night. We're going to be doing it again tonight. We go live after games so we can just take each other's questions. It's a place where you consume content that you're going to get nowhere else on our Dreamers Pro channel, anywhere else. All exclusive content, and a place where you can do so many other things. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check it out. We have it linked in the description below and get 7 days of free access. Everybody that's in there right now, they're having a ball and they're enjoying it. So please make sure you guys are going to check that out. That's what we're going to be doing some lives in the future. Okay, I'm waiting for you guys if you have any more questions. I think I've answered all the questions regarding Lonzo Ball. I'm seeing Kyrie. We talked about Rajon Rondo. I think I've seen all the questions that you guys have here as far as that. Let me see some other moves. Okay, let me see. Okay, one last thing. Let's talk about the Lakers real quick, because the Lakers seem to be a hot topic. Listen, right now, I think the Lakers are in a serious panic mode right now for good reason. The Lakers, as we speak, are the number 4 seed in the Western Conference. So this means that the Lakers they have a very big probability that the Lakers could keep falling lower and lower and lower. Because remember, AD and LeBron James are not coming back. So the Lakers are one of these teams that you need to pay attention to as far as making a trade before the deadline. I think that the Lakers are going to end up getting DeAndre Drummond. I think, wait, what? Somebody just said that Rajon Rondo just got traded to the Clippers. I'm not sure about that. So let me just verify that. Rajon Rondo news. Let's just see. Did he get traded? Rajon Rondo, Clippers. No, I didn't see that. I don't know where you were seeing that. Somebody just said that Rajon Rondo just got traded to the Clippers. I'm not sure if that happened. I'm not seeing that anywhere. Just a moment. Let me see. No, I'm not seeing that. Let me check Adrian Wojnarowski. Let's see if he said that. I'm not seeing that anywhere. If you have that, can you please give us what's the source? What's the source? Source Woj. I'm checking on Woj, but I'm not seeing it. Where are you seeing this? Woj where? Okay, guys, just stick around. Let me just see, because if he did get traded, then we're gonna have a lot more to talk about. Where are you guys seeing this? I'm not seeing this on his Instagram. Is it on Twitter? Where are you guys seeing this? Where did you see it? Can you tell me the source? Where's the source? Where are you seeing this? I need to know where exactly you're seeing this. Where did he get traded to? I didn't see that. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing Rajon Rondo trade news. I'm not seeing anything. Right now, I think Rajon Rondo is even injured right now. I'm not sure where you guys are seeing that. Yes, they say Clippers are eyeing hawking Rajon Rondo in a trade. Yes, I'm seeing that the Clippers are. Yes, according to Clutch Points, Clippers and Hawks are in discussions, right? But nothing has been finalized as of yet. So we don't know yet. It could be possible that Rajon Rondo to the Clippers could actually happen. It could happen, but I haven't seen anything just yet. I don't know where you guys are seeing that. I haven't seen that news as of yet. I haven't seen that news yet. So apparently the Clippers have gotten Rajon Rondo, but I need to see it. Okay, just 1 second. Let me see. Let me just check real quick. Rajon Rondo, Clippers, Twitter. Just 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me just see. I'm not seeing any. Okay, 1 second. I'm not seeing anything that's been finalized. Sham, the Hawks and Clippers are in serious talks to deal. So Rajon Rondo, sources tell. Yeah, but nothing has been verified yet. So That information hasn't been verified as of yet. So once that information becomes clear, then I'm going to see it. But right now, I haven't seen it. I'm just hearing that they're in trade talks. So I don't know if Rajon Rondo's been traded. Now, if in the case that he does get traded to the Clippers, then I think the Clippers are good to go. If they get him, I think the Clippers are good to go. I think the Clippers would be good to go with Rajon Rondo and with Lonzo Ball. I would probably prefer those two over Kyle Lowry because Kyle Lowry is way too expensive. It's too much. So for me, I think if the Clippers ended up getting Rajon Rondo, I think that would be the move to make. And if they do that, then I definitely think the Clippers have a legitimate shot to make it out of the Western Conference. Rondo for Lou Williams reported. Lou Williams said he might retire. Let me see this. Where are you guys seeing this at? Let me see. I'm just trying to get this information. No third team. Clippers are finalizing a deal. Wow. So it looks like they're going to get him after all. This is big news. Then I think that Rajon Rondo to the Clippers, I think that this move is definitely going to put them in the driver's seat. If this is true, then I think the Clippers have won the trade deadline. I don't care where else Kyle Lowry goes to. Don't care. If they get Rajon Rondo, this information seems to be true. If this information seems to be true, then perfect. I think the Clippers are in a good position. Some people are saying that Lou Williams is threatening that he might retire. Again, this is one of the reasons why I can't stand Lou Williams. Who does something like that? Who puts a gun to the team's organization? He said, yeah, who would put a gun to the team, the team's order and say, if you trade me, I'm going to retire. So for me, if that's true, you already know what I thought about Lou. So in my opinion, if the Clippers did get Rajon Rondo, and if in fact it's true, I'm just trying to get a final verification on this. That's all I'm trying to do right now. I'm at Sham right now. I'm at his page. He says they're in talks. I'm just trying to get the final go ahead 3 minutes ago. No third team. Lou Williams will play for the Atlanta Hawks in return. Wow. So it looks like it's true. The Clippers got Rajon Rondo. Wow. That's big news. So, guys, my thoughts are, if they got him, let me just see. I'm checking on ESPN. You guys are telling me to check on ESPN. Let me check. Yeah, let me see. Let me go to home. Let me go to ESPN. Let me go to ESPN.com. Let me check that out for a second. ESPN.com, sources, But I think it's true. So if the Clippers got him, if the Clippers got Rajon Rondo, I think the Clippers are in the driver's seat. I think they've solved their problems. I think the Clippers are definitely one of the teams to look out for to go to the NBA Finals, and I think it's going to be a legit move. Seeing Rajon Rondo to the Clippers, he's the person they should have gotten all along. And if it's true that they got him now, the Clippers fans, you should be celebrating that you got Rajon Rondo. And if Lou Williams is gone, you guys should be even happy. I think you should be happier that Lou Williams is gone than getting Rajon Rondo. So, guys, if you guys missed this live, make sure you share. We're going to post it on our main channel right now. I want to thank you guys so much for your time. Also, be sure to subscribe to our Dreamerspro channel and check out our Dreamerspro online sports community. We have all of that linked in the description below. But this is definitely going to be live. If you guys have any more questions regarding this trade and you can't wait until tomorrow, sign up to the Dreamerspro Max online sports community. You get 7 days of free access, so you guys we can talk about it all tonight, so you don't have to wait until tomorrow. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Anyway, thank you guys for your attention. This is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.